Good afternoon, my name is Kenny Fair and I'm going to do a little presentation over how to understand a game of golf in just simply 10 minutes. So just a couple things you need to know before we dive into anything too deep is just that throughout this whole presentation we're just going to cover the language of golf. We'll stumble upon a couple words that you might not recognize, but that's okay because we'll just go ahead, we'll go over them and we'll just see how they can apply to the game of golf and see how you can use them in your game. And then secondly, we're going to go over golf etiquette. What is golf etiquette? Golf etiquette is simply a way to make the game better for ourselves as well for others. Next, we're going to go to how do we keep score. Golf is different than any other game. Golf is a game about the lowest score, not the highest score. We tend to think of sports and high scoring sports, but golf veers away from that. It's an outlier, and whoever scores the lowest amount of points in golf is going to be the winner. And how do we read a scorecard? How do we keep score? There's a lot more to a scorecard rather than just keeping score in golf. It tells you the information about the hole and everything that you need to be prepared to play your best hole. Next, these two go hand in hand. What clubs do we use? How do we use them? Golf is all about clubs. You can't play the game without your clubs. And to know the game of golf is to know your clubs. So next we're going to go on to golf etiquette. And the first things first on golf etiquette is that I like to say only you can prevent slow play. So that simply means is it's all about the flow. Golf is all about flow. It's about tee times, people getting booked onto the course. And so to keep our best fluidity throughout the game is simply by preventing slow play. Now what is slow play? Slow play is simply just delaying the game. It's exactly how it sounds. It's delaying the game. So I'll just give you a little example. If you're with your guys and you're playing a big old game of golf and you got about 6 people with you, but there's a pair that wants to come in and they want to play. To prevent slow play, we're just going to let them play in front of us. We're going to let them tee off and do their thing while we'll just sit back and we'll let them go because they're going to play faster than we're going to play. So instead of holding them up and creating a clog in the system, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to let them play just to make everything flow a little bit better. Now, this goes hand in hand with what we're talking about slow play, is playing through. So the term for letting them go is simply just playing through. Now, we tend to think of golf as a quiet sport, you know. We have the golf clap, the little 2 fingers to keep everything calm and mellow. And golf is a very calming game, but at times it can get exciting. And so we do respect whenever we are going to raise our voices. But the main points whenever we don't raise our voices, and the main way golf is called a quiet sport or gets that name, is from being quiet whenever someone's going to get ready to hit their tee shot or go into a backswing of a swing. So a tee shot is simply just the first ball you're going to strike before you hit the hole. So you get up to your hole, you set down your tee, and you just go ahead and you're going to let one rip. That's going to be your tee shot. Now your backswing, I'll give you a little demonstration. Your backswing is the main points of your swing. So we're here and then we're all the way back. And that's going to be our backswing. And golf is all about your swing and people spend so much time trying to perfect it. And so it's just very respectful if we give them the floor and we just let them be quiet whenever they're going into their backswing, because that's the main points of their swing. And to perfect their swing, they need to concentrate very well and they need to be very centered on how they're going through the motions about their swing. So just to be respectful, we just always want to keep that in mind. And as simply another way we can respect others is knowing when to take our shot. So if a team has teed off in front of us and we're getting ready to tee off behind them, when should we tee off? When's the correct and rightful time to tee off? And that's simply just after they've hit another ball after their tee shot. So they've gone up, they've teed off, they've drive their carts, or they've walked down there and they're getting ready to hit another shot. Let them hit that shot and then you can proceed on your tee shot. That again helps the fluidity and that just respects them, so we're not playing too fast in front of them and hurrying them up in a sense. And lastly is another simple golf etiquette thing, just to keep others in mind and the people hosting you the course in mind, is fix your divots. So Mainly your divots are going to come out of your wedges or out of your iron. So I'm going to pick out my pitching wedge. Pitching wedge is just in between an iron and a chip. And so we can see that it has kind of an L shaped, and that's to get under the ball and create divots. So whenever we do create a divot by getting under the ball, we're just going to take that piece of grass, put it back, tap our foot down like it never happened, and just move on with our game. Same on the green, we want to flatten it out with a putter. So we'll take our putter. We've hit a good chip shot. It's landing on the green. We'll see a little crater, probably about the size of a golf ball. And we're just going to simply just tap it out. And that's just going to make the greens better, and it's going to make everyone's play better. So next is keeping score. Like I mentioned, golf is a low-scoring game. So the person with the least amount of points wins. So how do we get points in golf? So an easy way to think about it is that a mistake is going to be a point. So it's going to tally up. So imagine just tallying up your mistakes, and that's kind of how it is in golf. So, and the takeaway point is whenever we do good or we do above average. And so average in golf is going to be called par. And so par simply means how many strokes it takes you to get to the hole. And each hole is going to have its own number of strokes. So if we see a hole and it's a par 4, that means the average, or what it should take to get into the hole, is going to be 4 strokes. And a stroke is just a swing. That's all a stroke is. Pretty simple. And so just to go a couple across these words and understand the score of golf. And hole-in-one, self-explanatory. It's hitting the ball. First hit, you make it in the hole. That's going to put you down -1 of what par is. So if you have a par 4 and you get a hole-in-one, you're -3. And so next move on to albatross. Albatross is -2. So if you have a par 5 and you make it in 2, you're going to be -3. And so if you have an eagle and you get it in, I'm sorry, let me back up. Albatross is -3. Hole-in-one is obviously how many ever it's going to take. So albatross, -3. If you have a par 5, you make it in 3 strokes, you're doing very well. And then eagle is going to be -2, birdie's -1. Par, we talked about par. This is where we start to get into our mistakes, our tallies. And that's bogey, 1 over, double bogey, 2 over, and triple bogey is going to be 3 over. So obviously the goal in golf is to finish under par or as low as possible. Now, how do we keep score? Or what is a scorecard, and how do we read a scorecard? So simply, a scorecard tells us everything about the hole. So we have the hole number, we have the yardage, we have more yardage on different tee boxes. And so this is going to be a beginner's tee because it's the lowest yardage. This is going to be an intermediate tee because it has the middle of these 2 yardage. And this is going to be our expert tee because it's the furthest away. And so we can see that as we go down, we see handicap. Handicap simply means how hard is the hole. And we see that hole 8 has a 1 handicap. That means it's the hardest hole. And we can see hole 13 is the easiest hole because it's 18. And we can see that Dave, Mary, and John have all their strokes recorded and added up. And at the bottom, we see our par. So we talked about par. And in par, we see that it's 36. So we can see how these numbers compare to 36 and how they did on the course. And as we go into the back 9, in golf we call the first 9 holes the front 9, and we call the last 9 holes the back 9. And you just simply add the back 9 as well. So as we're going to go through our clubs, last but not least, it's just super simple. And the main thing I want to hit on when we go to clubs is our irons. We can see that the low number irons hit further yardage. So that's what we're going to call our high irons because they can hit high yardage. And so the heavier iron we get, the shorter it goes. And we can see as we have a 9 iron, if I can find my 9 iron, right here, how tall it is on me. And this means this is for short yardage. And if we get our 4 iron, we can see how tall it is on me. The pitching wedge 9-iron pitching wedge, about the same size, is right down to my quad. The 4-iron is right to my waist. So this is just to get a little bit more yardage and how far we can get it whenever we're ranging towards the hole. So that's just a little bit of the club rundown. And super simple, super easy. Driver is your furthest, and as we go down, we get closer. Now, just a little bit of review. Just know your etiquette. In what ways can we make it simple for others to have a good game as well as us? Remember, low score wins. Know your course, know how to read the scorecard, and know your clubs. That's about it. If I got any questions, just let me know.